Hello, San Francisco, and welcome once again to the Angelic Troublemakers. I'm your host, Alan Jones, and on today's program, rename my foot, not SFO, airport. Today, I'm going to be talking about something that the San Francisco Board of, a member of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors did that really got under my skin. But first, I must mention that the purpose of the Angelic Troublemakers is I believe social change can happen without all of the protesting, marching to City Hall and violence, blocking the streets, and all of that. I believe that it can happen with the use of modern technology and, of course, the internet, social media. But the fact is a solid argument, I believe, once it catches, can change people's mind. But too often, people are afraid to speak up and tell it like it is. Well, that's not me. I have no fear of speaking up and telling it like it is. If I'm wrong, I'm man enough to admit it. However, I will not back down just because somebody's feelings are hurt. And I'm not in the business of hurting people's feelings. I do nothing out of malice, revenge, or anything like that, though my resume would seem to think otherwise. But this past week, a member of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors by the name of Hillary Ruin introduced or reintroduced a piece of legislation to rename San Francisco International Airport, or some part of it, after the late gay icon Harvey Milk. Now, the reason why I am so disturbed by this is I thought this issue was put to bed quite some time ago. But being that politics are what they are, I'm willing to accuse her of, just trying to curry favor with a certain group. But the problem is by trying to curry favor, which is a political ploy that is probably as old as Adam and Eve stories. The fact that this supervisor was the assistant to former supervisor David Campos when he first ran up the flagpole with a ideal of his, he, Campos, being a gay San Franciscan supervisor, of renaming San Francisco International Airport after Harvey Milk, who was the first openly gay supervisor in California. Now, he had good intentions. However, his ignorance and arrogance, I think, drove this more than his good intentions. But I must say that I was satisfied when they put the issue to rest. I recall San Francisco International Airport went out of their way to change some rules to where San Francisco International Airport is not going to be renamed, because the fact is they changed the rules based on then Supervisor Campos silly idea to rename it after Harvey Milk. Well, that didn't stop Hillary Ronan. I don't know why she's reintroducing this. Sure, there is probably something in the reworking of how to honor certain people at SFO by a plaque, but even that is sketchy. I don't understand it. But what Hillary Ronan has done is greatly disturbing because of the fact that she helped me in getting a piece of legislation, or what I call a resolution, passed. In 2010 or 2011, late 2010, early 2011, I had learned, well, I knew, but I had forgot because of time, that there was a former Marine who was also homosexual who saved the life of President Gerald R. Ford in San Francisco. And this was 1975. If you recall, those of you old enough, the name Sarah Jane Moore, she was down at the San Francisco, where was it? Hilton, Hyatt Regency here at Hilton, I believe. Excuse me. It was not that. It was the St. Francis Hotel. Gerald Ford was coming out. There was a crowd of people. And this man, Oliver Sipple, a former Marine, he just wandered on down, and he noticed the crowd, and he just wanted to know. He was nosy, like all of us, and he wanted to see, well, what are they standing out here for? So he got in a closer look once he was told what was going on. And then, as the president exited the St. Francis Hotel, the Gary Street entrance or exit, he noticed Sarah Jane Moore, didn't know her name at the time, he noticed a woman pull a pistol out of her purse. And so he was the only one close enough to jump into action. His Marine training helped him, I'm sure. But he shouted, and I quote, since I don't curse, I quote, he said, "The bitch has a gun." He grabbed for her arm, held tight, and the gun went off, but it missed the president. I understand that it hit a cab driver. But there was a wrestling to the ground. The Secret Service pounced on him. They rushed Ford, the president, off. And they didn't know what was going on. Briefly, they thought that Oliver Sipple was the gunman. Well, after everything cleared out, they found out, hey, he very well likely saved the life of the president. And the reason why I give him credit is because when you look at all the evidence, Sarah Jane Moore was an excellent shot. She knew how to use a gun. But anyway, he was credited with saving the life of the president. Well, back in 1975, you would think, even way back when, that a person who saves the life of the president would be honored. right? Well, he was for 24 hours. Then people found out that the man was a homosexual. Then he was not only dishonored, he was disowned by his own family. How can you save the life of the president and then, instead of being honored, be dishonored? That happened here in San Francisco in 1975. The man drank himself to death over the issue in the next 10 or so, 15 years. And it was a sad thing. But I had come on the story, and it helped me personally in another area. I won't get into that, but I felt led to reach out to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors and tell the story. Because San Francisco, even back in 1975, refused, by just ignoring everything proper on purpose, they refused to honor the man. President Ford sent him a very nice thank you letter. However, even his home family said, we can't find the letter many years later. Showed how much they thought of the situation. I guarantee you, if one of my relatives saved the life of the president, I guarantee you, everybody will know where that letter is. But that's the way it was. And so for the next 30 plus years, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Why people don't know this story? So I contacted Supervisor Campbell's office, and I spoke to this woman. She, Hillary Ronan, was his chief assistant. She read an email that I sent to their office, and she replied. She thought it was an interesting story, and she went to work. And a few months later, there was a proclamation honoring Oliver Sipple, the date that I chose, which was September 22nd. Oliver Sipple was born on February 2nd. I chose that it would have been better on the day of that particular incident. And so, to rub salt into the wound of how I've been treated by City Hall on other issues, do you know that, and I lie not, when they decided to honor Oliver Sipple, no one told me. I found out 3 weeks later. But that's the way it goes. So, fast forward. Now this same Hillary Ronan replaced David Campos, who ran the silly ideal of honoring Harvey Milk. Well, now I understand that everybody here was duped into believing that Harvey Milk was some great guy. He was this, he was that, he was this, he was that. Yeah, well, that's not true. Did he have good qualities? Yes. However, it is my personal opinion, Harvey Milk was no gay Gandhi. In fact, he was friends of the worst thing that ever happened to San Francisco. What was that? The Reverend Jim Jones. The Reverend Jim Jones helped Harvey Milk, and is, I say, and you can quote Willie Brown, the reason Harvey Milk was elected to the Board of Supervisors was not the gay community, but it was Jim Jones. Jim Jones and his followers went out knocking on doors, streets, handing out pamphlets for Harvey Milk in support of him. When there was another gay machine in the city trying to get another person elected to the same seat on the board. Well, Harvey Milk prevailed, and there's an awful lot of people who are still alive today who know that it was the Reverend Jim Jones who got Harvey Milk and Mayor Willie, what was his name? Moscone, not Willie, but George Moscone, to become mayor. So when you look at it, what about Jim Jones? Jonestown. He killed 900 people. Sure, they committed suicide, but it was under his direction. They wouldn't have done it if he didn't take them all to Ghana. And so I'm saying that Hillary Ronan knows this. Why? Because I told her. I told the entire board of supervisors. When David Campbell's tried to raise up to the flagpole the renaming of SFO after Harvey Milk, I went ballistic then. I guess ballistic is not the proper word, but anyway, I went off then. And I was in probably one of my last appearances at the Board of Supervisors. And I'm shouting, this is ridiculous. This man is no real hero. Let me tell you what this Harvey Milk did. And Hillary Ronan knows this. Harvey Milk sent a letter to then President Jimmy Carter 9 months before Jim Jones was involved in this, or he was the mastermind of this 900 black San Franciscans killed in Jonestown. Harvey Milk sent a letter of praise to President Jimmy Carter, and Jim Jones was going through a custody battle with a biological son, but he was like a surrogate. He was some former member of his church cult, could not conceive. And they wanted a child, him and his wife. So Jim Jones said, oh, okay, I'll do it. Well, then there became a battle after this husband and wife raised the kid as their own. Jim Jones wanted to take the kid to Ghana with him. Well, there was a court battle. Guess who won? Jim Jones. And that same 6-year-old who Harvey Milk praised Jim Jones for his fatherly duties, for being such a great human being, took that same 6-year-old to Ghana 9 months later, where those 900 plus people were murdered. So why in the world would Hillary Ronan, who knows both these stories, choose to honor Harvey Milk, who was friends with a mass murderer, over Oliver Sipple, who saved the life of a sitting president in San Francisco. My answer and my explanation to this silliness is Hillary Ronan is looking to curry favor from the LGBT community at the expense of the black community. Why would this woman push out of her head a gay man, mind you, who saved the life of the president just to honor Harvey Milk, who everybody who has been duped into believing was some great hero of gay politics or whatever you want to call it. Now, I know people, how could you possibly be speaking so evil of such a righteous man? Well, I'm telling you, I credit and blame the black community. I credit the black community for knowing of this history as I do and not making a big deal of it. But I blame the black community and myself because when you really look at it, enough's enough. Black people in San Francisco have been marginalized for I don't know how long. And for people to want to run up the flagpole how great Harvey Milk was, black people, they say, all right, if you want to have your gay hero, okay. But now you're shoving it in our face, the man who was friends with a mass murderer of black people. I wrote an article this week past, which has no chance of being published in a San Francisco paper. Why? I asked this simple question, of course. I asked the simple question if Jim Jones had killed 900 Jews instead of 900 blacks, would Hillary Ronan be wanting to honor Harvey Milk, who was his good buddy? Well, that's not going to be put in the paper. What do they put in the paper? What I read. Oh, somebody's trying to rename SFO after a gay icon. That's not the real story. The real story is, how dare you even bring up his name? It's a slap in the face to all black people to want to honor Harvey Milk over and over and over again. We've let it slide for I don't know how long. Well, of course I do. Since 1978. But the fact of the matter is, for Hillary Ronan to want to do this and think that, well, maybe every black person over the age of 60 has already been gentrified out of San Francisco, so, hey, I can slip it in now. No, you can't. Now, I understand that there's an awful lot of people who, you say something bad about someone that they look up to, and those are fighting words. Well, I get it. My only issue is this. If you want to honor a gay person, hey, there's an awful lot of others more worthy than honor than Harvey Milk. And I don't understand why, if you'll pardon the phrase, the gay community continues to drink the Kool-Aid. Now, we know that the drink the Kool-Aid saying comes from that Jim Jones massacre. He put cyanide or whatever poison he did in 900 plus glasses, cups of Kool-Aid. And these black people, who I do not feel sorry for, all drank it. I feel sorry for their family members who mourn their loss. But quite frankly, I don't feel sorry for 900 people, I mean the adults, who follow this Antichrist to his death. But I'm saying that when we really look at this, black people of San Francisco were being run out of this town left and right. And I don't think it has to do with just the economics. I live in San Francisco, and I'm not going anywhere. Not until I get San Francisco's attention. Then I may leave. But the fact of the matter is we are being run out of the city, not because of economics. We're being run out of the city because of a lack of respect. I think that there's an awful lot of very educated, well-respected in other circles, black people who have said, no, I don't have to put up with this. I'll take my talents elsewhere. But to be marginalized by I don't know. I don't want to give her the benefit of the doubt of a rookie politician. I honestly believe that this Hillary Ronan is tone deaf. If she took what I gave her, threw it in the garbage just to honor Harvey Milk, because the whole LGBT community of San Francisco is going to see what a wonderful person she is. Well, she may get her honor with a plaque of Harvey Milk at SFO somewhere. I just hope it's over a urinal. Because I'm telling you, there is no place that Harvey Milk should be honored after you read the letter that he wrote to President Jimmy Carter, dated February 19th, 1978, 9 months before that same man he praised murdered 900 people. Wake up, Black San Francisco, because people are just doing whatever they want to here, and we're not doing anything to stand up and say, well, hold the phone, this ain't right, and put a stop to it. There's other issues. And I, as long as I'm here, alive, not run out of town, will not be, I'm going to voice those things. You can't always be nice. And though I try my best to be nice, sometimes you just have to put your foot down. And I'm recommending all of San Francisco put their foot down and call this supervisor's office and let her know this ain't right. You are trying to honor a man who was a friend to the person who got him elected to office, but he killed 900 black people shortly thereafter. Until next time, God bless.